Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Opposite the Monitor. And today we're going to get into some big news, man. Microsoft finally wins the FTC buyout of Activision and Blizzard. Man, it is crazy. Anthony, it seems like this whole entire thing has been going on for like forever. I know it's been like a month long type of, court case going on, but it's just crazy. What do you think about this, man? Like I there's some other stuff we need to get into with this, but what do you think about this though?
I mean, I think it's finally gotten to the point where we all knew it was gonna be. But I do like to say that it's cool with all the Sony leaks that are coming out of this. Like I think that's really dope and finding out like all the new stuff coming out, like the PS5 Slim and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I'm more excited about. I mean, I could care about, Microsoft owning Activision and Blizzard because they're not gonna make them proprietary games. At least if they were smart, they wouldn't. But
Yeah.
either way, like that's what's really hyped me up is the whole Sony stuff coming out, and it's kind of funny how when it's a case dealing with Microsoft, Sony stuff is being talked about.
Yeah, definitely. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm not too big on like monopolization and, big companies, mega corporations eating each other. I feel like it does kind of like, creates like that, I guess the no competition type of mentality in different markets and stuff. But the gaming industry is so vast. There's so many different developers and development companies and publishing companies and stuff like that. But I mean, it's still exciting. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you know, uh, and I guess one reason I think I can probably contribute to my excitement for this is that, just like Microsoft is getting involved in Starfield's development, I'm just really hoping that Microsoft gets it like even more involved in Call of Duty's development over the course of the next 10 years. And that kind of brings me to my another point that they kind of introduced, that they spoke about a little bit. So they go on to say, in this article by Gaming Bible, just quoting Judge Corley, who blocked the FTC's ruling against this. She went on to go say that Microsoft's acquisition of Activision has been described as the largest in tech history, and it definitely is. It deserves scrutiny. That scrutiny has paid off. Microsoft is committed in writing, in public, and in court to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for the next 10 years on parity with Xbox. It made an agreement with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty to Switch, and it entered several agreements for the first time to bring Activision's content to several cloud gaming services. And I think, man, like, there was so much kind of back and forth going on between Microsoft and PlayStation. PlayStation was out here just basically saying, hey, they're going to take away they're going to take away Call of Duty from our platform and make it exclusive to the Xbox and all that stuff. And this isn't fair. And basically just a bunch of whining, essentially.
Yeah.
And I think just in my, and I think me and you kind of feel the same way when it comes to like PlayStation. Is like, like if it ever comes to the point that they want to make Call of Duty exclusive, this is your time to be able to, resurrect some of your IP that you have and create more competition within the ecosystem. So I mean, like, what do you think about that as far as like, the 10-year, commitment to PlayStation bringing a Call of Duty to those platforms?
I mean, I knew this was gonna happen, but like what we were just talking about, like why does PlayStation even care if Call of Duty's on it or not? Like,
Yeah.
where's Killzone?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have the perfect competitor for Call of Duty, which in my opinion, Call of Duty hasn't been good for a long time.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if it's on PlayStation or not. Like you have better properties. Make those. Stop using Call of Duty as a cop out for just having people on your online service,
Yeah.
That's
No.
how I really feel about that.
Yeah, no, I completely, yeah, I agree with that side of it too. Like, it's like, Call of Duty hasn't necessarily been like in the best of space or the best of places within this space, essentially. Like, given the fact that, you have a bunch of pay to win elements within Call of Duty right
Oh
now,
yeah.
Warzone isn't doing well right now, DMZ, DMZ started off good, but you started throwing in those pay to win mechanics as well with, purchasing specific characters, and they come with increased storage space or increased backpack space for DMZ. you're kind of like muddying the waters, I would say, with the community essentially. And it's just getting to the point to where Call of Duty is kind of like falling out of that go-to type of game for me, because or at least a go-to first-person shooter for me, because it's like, it gets to the point to where, yes, it's repetitive, but it's not necessarily the game mechanics that are repetitive. It's more so the stuff that comes after that, the monetization, the schemes that come behind that, all of the extra stuff that just, kind of puts a distaste in my mouth when it comes to Call of Duty. That's just kind of how I feel about it with it. But I mean, they're dedicated to bringing it to PlayStation. I don't understand how they're going to do it on Switch. I mean, you could try. You could try. But I mean, it's definitely going to be, they'd have to rework. But they essentially would have to put Call of Duty Mobile on Switch.
I was literally just going to say that it's going to have to be a mobile version.
Yeah, they'd have to put Call of Duty Mobile on Switch. That's the only way that I can see that working, unless they put it on the Switch 2. Now, unless they put on Switch 2, because I'm pretty sure Switch, I think we got some leaks of Switch 2 that kind of leaked some hardware from it. So I think Switch 2 is definitely going to be more powerful than the Switch. But, I mean, yeah, they could do that, though. But they go on.
Is that name confirmed, Switch 2? I feel like I doubt it's going to be called Switch 2.
I wouldn't put it past. I think they'll probably turn it into. I think it'll just be Switch 2.
They've never made like a 2.
I know, but then again, like I can't remember another console from Nintendo that's been this successful. The Switch is a very successful platform. Well, the NES, but I mean, aside from that, like the Switch is one of the most successful hardware platforms that they made.
That and the Wii. The Wii was huge.
Yeah, so I think I mean, they kind of came out with, the Wii and the Wii U is the Wii U is a sequel to the Wii. So, I mean.
Yeah, I know, but that was a huge flop. And like that introduced like what the Switch was basically going to be with that gigantic gamepad. And
yeah,
the Wii U was a flop. Once they made the controller like normal again, it got rid of all the grannies and grandpas that love to play Wii U and bowl with their grandchildren.
Yeah, I think that I think they kind of found their kind of little I guess nest that they want to like sit in. I guess their pocket that they want to sit in with the Switch, like the design of
the motion stuff.
Yeah, like the design of the Switch is accessible. People like it. You know what I'm saying? It's very similar to other handheld devices such as the Asus ROG Ally, the Steam Deck. You know what I'm saying? So I think they're just going to continue with that. The only thing they would need to do is continue with that design, but just put more powerful hardware in it, enlist
which they have the capability of to now, because ROG Ally, look at that thing. That thing's literally a computer in your hand.
It is. So I mean, like if they wanted to, and I mean, I would just go as far as say, go to AMD like Xbox and PlayStation did with their new consoles.
Yeah.
Go to AMD, get them to make you a hybrid chipset specifically for the Nintendo Switch. Throw in kind of like an APU instead of like a separate, do an advanced processing unit, which basically encompasses a CPU and a GPU put together instead of a separate CPU and a separate GPU. Have AMD make you that, and then boom, switch to better graphics, better computing, better processing speed, better read write. Make sure you throw in like maybe like a 500 gig solid state drive in that, or 800 gig solid state drive, something like that in there. Not nothing too crazy. And then make sure you add some external hard drive to it too. You can use like an SD card specifically if you wanted to.
The Switch already uses a micro SD.
Yeah, that works. So I mean, you can add that too. There's ways that they could kind of capitalize on the design of what they already have. But but
Nintendo's never about graphics. But let's get back to this.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, we're going off.
Yeah,
but yeah,
way off on a tangent.
Yeah, but going back to some more quotes from what the judge kind of brought up was that the court finds the FTC has not shown a likelihood the likelihood it will prevail on its claim this particular vertical merger in the specific industry may substantially lessen competition. To the contrary, the record evidence points to more consumer access of Call of Duty and other Activision content. And I mean, Yeah, I mean, I guess you like Microsoft has always come out, or Xbox specifically has always come out and said like they don't like it. It makes no sense to just put it on Xbox only. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you want to be able to put it on multiple different platforms so that way you have multiple different sources of revenue. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
the more platforms that it's on, the more people that's exposed to Call of Duty, the more people that
All
can
of
buy
their
it.
microtransactions and pay to wins.
Exactly. Which I mean may be the death of them. May put the the
The
nail in the
nail in the
coffin.
coffin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially. But yeah, man, I think this is good news, man. It's really good. I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited to see what what Microsoft can do with Activision Blizzard. Hopefully, they can get rid of that BattleNet launcher too. Get rid of that shit. Get rid of that shit and put it all on, you know, Game Pass, or put it all on the Microsoft Store or Xbox. Just get rid of Battle.net.
Yeah,
Battle.net is
dude,
trash.
for real. I hate that shit.
Yeah, Battle.net is trash. But moving on though, we have some more information regarding a new Black Panther game. Now, to kind of mitigate the confusion of this, because this isn't the Black Panther game that was announced before. This is a completely new Black Panther game made by EA, a new studio that they acquired called Cliffhanger Games. And one of the the vice presidents of that studio is Kevin Steffens. I kind of looked more into him because I hadn't heard of Cliffhanger Games before. But he's touched on some good properties though, man. But specifically, Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor Studio is heading up the new Black Panther game. And comparatively to what we've heard from this one and the previous one, this one just seems to be just strictly Black Panther. The previous one that was announced seems to be a crossover between Black Panther and Captain America, based in I want to say it was 1940s. So it's 1940s Captain America and like 1940s Black Panther, which I cannot remember for the life of me the name of that. It's the original Black Panther who's in that crossover game. But what do you think about this news, man? Are you excited for Black Panther, man? Are have you ever played Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor before?
Yeah, I played it. It's pretty good. Lord of the Rings, bro, over here
Yeah.
all day.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool. If they keep it as good as they did with Shadows of Mordor, I mean, this game's gonna be dope as hell, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you cannot go wrong with Black Panther, like the Marvel character that came out of nowhere in Civil War and just like captivated everybody, you know?
Definitely.
Like I know a lot of people probably have never heard of him, which I don't know how, but now like after that, like Black Panther was like the biggest thing, you know? Wakanda forever and all.
Yeah, one thing I wish that or one thing I hope that they would do, which I don't think they would do this at all. But one thing I hope they would do is that I hope they use the likeness of Chadwick Boseman though
Me too.
for this, because man, that would be so dope for this one in particular, not the one that's the crossover, because the one that's a crossover is in a completely different timeline. I think this one here we don't have any details of this, but I would assume that this one would probably be present day Black Panther. But it would be dope to kind of get them to use his likeness and stuff and kind of have him in a game as well. Because I mean, like, yeah, bro, the only Black Panther that I know of is Chadwick Boseman. He is Black Panther.
For real.
So I
Well,
mean,
by the looks of this logo, I mean you can kind of see it has like his fang necklace type thing, and it kind of does look like it has the I can't remember what the ability is called, but when he absorbs the energy and then releases it, like it kind of looks like it has that kind of glow. So it's very possible it could be Chadwick Boseman's version of Black Panther. So they could use his likeness, which would be really dope if they do. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm excited for this, man. One of the other things too would be pretty dope to kind of see in this game is I don't know if you remember this particular it's called the Nemesis system inside of the Shadow of Mordor game. Where it kind of like delineates power to the next person in line when you fight and attack specific enemies within the game. And it kind of had that hierarchy system in there. That would be pretty dope if they were to put that in this game. Because it's kind of it allows you to be able to have to make specific decisions that are based upon whether or not you can execute whatever type of plan you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? It kind of throws in the element of strategy a little bit when trying to delineate who to fight, who not to fight, who to, go up against at a specific time, who to be able to kind of like, maybe you can kind of like get some information out of like a smaller, lower level henchman, and then try to use that information against, one of the top guys in that organization. Like, that would be pretty dope. And that's kind of like how the Nemesis system kind of worked out in Shadow of Mordor. So I kind of hope they throw that in there, but they go on to kind of, detail out, what the premise of, not necessarily what the premise of the game is, but, kind of like the core of it is. So they go on to say that we're dedicated to delivering fans a definitive and authentic Black Panther experience, giving them more agency and control over their narrative than they have ever experienced in a story-driven video game. Now, I've heard speak like this before, it's that hype train going again. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to be able to give you this and give you that and give you this and give you that. One thing that I'm really curious about is if EA is going to release this under the EA Originals moniker or if it's going to be directly from EA, because
I hope not.
Because I tell you before, there's a difference between EA and EA Originals.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what I feel like this is going to be under EA proper, because it's Marvel. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they release EA Originals under Marvel. Typically EA Originals is typically like indie spaces and stuff like that. But yeah, it's I don't know, man. I hope they don't have too much of a hand. And I mean, well, then again, it's Marvel's too, bro. Marvel has released two out of 3 duds recently. I mean, just to be like straight up, they've released like 2 out of 3 shit games. That
Avengers game was ass.
Yeah, the Avengers game was terrible. I think the only good one that came out of that was Guardians of the Galaxy from Square Enix. That was a good game, but nobody really talks about it like that though. So
yeah, I know. But look at the developer, Square Enix. So
yeah, exactly.
Not a surprise there.
Yeah, that was the better
I
one.
hope it's EA Originals though, because I like Disney in general just needs to just rip that contract up with EA and just find someone else. Like, Jesus.
I mean, it wouldn't be too far along. It wouldn't be too far along the lines of like, what FIFA did. You could start outsourcing. Yeah. But I mean, that's kind of what Marvel's doing right now though. It's like, because EA doesn't have an exclusivity deal with Marvel. Like that's, for instance, like they're making so they got this Marvel game, but then Square Enix was making a Marvel game too. So
no, I know that. I just know because of the Star Wars stuff, and like that's why they probably keep getting like these like Marvel stuff. Like it's like Disney needs to be like, all right, EA, you guys suck like so much. Like, we're done.
Well, I mean, hopefully they can kind of follow in the footsteps of like the Jedi games, like the Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order type of games, because those games are really good. And those games kind of, the Jedi Fallen Order game was the game that changed EA's mind about single player games. That's why they're investing so much in single player games now. If it wasn't for
because it's so big.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Respawn making Jedi Fallen Order and that game selling as good as it did, they still be out here talking about, see, single player games don't do really good. We're going to go back to making multiplayer garbage and force your ass to spend money on our dumbass microtransactions. So, but they go on to say, they give a little bit of detail about the game itself. But it's supposed to be an original third person single player game. And just to give you kind of like an overview of like some of the people that are also working on this alongside Kevin Steffens is veterans of top franchises, including Halo Infinite. That's not a good look. Call of Duty. That's also not a good look. And God of War is probably the only name in there that's really good. So
yeah,
man, I don't know, man. Like, I'm hoping that it's good. I'm hoping that it comes out pretty good, but I'm not too I got to first see gameplay first. I'm the type of person where I have to see gameplay. Don't show me a cinematic trailer. Don't show me shit that doesn't look like it's in the game. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I don't know,
Yeah, with
man.
EA, I always hope for the best and expect the worst.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, so also just to throw in a little bit more tidbit into this, you know, the game is supposed to be releasing, well, not necessarily releasing, but Black Panther. They kind of go over the information of Black Panther, Captain America crossover. That one that was announced last year. That one was the one that was based in like 1940s or whatever like that, and Skydance New Media is actually working on that one. But you know, I think it's gonna be pretty dope though. I think the crossover is probably gonna be the better one over this one. And the only reason why I say that is because Skydance New Media is actually headed by Amy Hennig. And the crossover is being set in the Second World War, so World War II. So yeah, like the 1940s. So, and I mean, you know, if you like the Uncharted games, like I mean, if you like Uncharted 1 through 3, not 4, because 4 had Neil Druckmann all over that. But if you had Uncharted 1 through 3, Amy Hennig like did an amazing job of that franchise. And she was supposed to work on a Star Wars game, but that got canceled. EA canceled that. She was working on a Star Wars game at EA. They canceled that whole game plus the studio. She was heading a studio over there with that, making that game. So I mean, hopefully she can get her redemption here with her new studio that she created, Skydance Media. So I mean, like I'm excited for it. I'm probably more excited for the crossover than I am particularly this one. They're gonna definitely have to show me. I mean, Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor was a good game, but some of these other veterans that have been working on some of this other stuff like Halo Infinite and Call of Duty, that's not a good look for me.
Yeah, definitely not, dude.
It's not a good look for me. But moving on though, we have some brand new information about you know, Baldur's Gate 3. And not necessarily information, not new information about it, but we got like you know, a crying dev. And I completely disagree with this, you know, what this dev is saying particularly. This just sounds like excuses. But you know, he goes on along the lines of saying in his tweet that he put out, he put multiple tweets or whatever, but kind of like he said, the gist of it is that, you know, Baldur's Gate 3 shouldn't be the new baseline as to where, you know, RPGs should be headed. And I completely disagree with that. He basically says that this is not a new baseline for RPGs. This is an anomaly. No, I don't think it is an anomaly. So I mean,
Get
like,
good, bro.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. And well, see, my thing is that like, okay, like, you know, yes, Baldur's Gate 3 is a massive game. Like, just it has 174 hours of just cinematics. That's just cinematics. That's not including none of the in-game cutscenes that may happen with you talking to people, with all of it. They got like over 5,000 voice lines in the game. And the game is projected to take at least like I think they said 400 to 500 hours of gameplay.
Second Life right there.
That's 400 to 500 hours of gameplay across 18 different runs, because there's multiple different characters that you can play, multiple characters with multiple classes with multiple races. So different outcomes all the time, which is why I need to find me like a group of people that's willing to just like run like a 4-man group in that game. But you know, I don't think this is an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? And me personally, I don't think that, you know, like this can definitely be the baseline, and it should be the baseline in my opinion, because we need developers in this space that are passionate about what they're making to give us great games and content, not people who are just out here like forcing developers to just rush out a product and then it's broken and then they got to delay it, and you know, they got to delay it 2 or 3 weeks before the game is supposed to be releasing and stuff like that. And it's just like, you know what I'm saying? No, this is the wrong mindset, in my opinion, to kind of go about it with. It's like, no, like, you know, you need to be trying to aim. If you can't hit that particular goal, then you need to be aiming for it, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about this though? Like he basically kind of makes a bunch of excuses as to why developers shouldn't be, or as to why people shouldn't expect developers to do this. Basically saying trying to do the same thing without the same advantages could kill an entire group of studios. And it's just like, you know, like Larian Studios has been doing this over a course of like a decade already. You know what I'm saying? Like he goes on to say basically like, they were working on the game since 2017. The game's been in early access. The game's only been in early access for about 3 years now. So the game's only been in early access for about 3 years. Baldur's Gate 3 has, but they've worked on games. They worked on this game since 2017. They worked on Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, which was kind of in the same similar vein. So I don't understand how this can't be the baseline when you're dealing with the studio who has replicated this 2 times before. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are your thoughts on this, man? Because it for my mind is just ridiculous.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'll play devil's advocate a little bit here. Like maybe by baseline he meant like it shouldn't be this massive, this immersive. I would assume, I would at least hope, because all RPGs should be, somewhat big and somewhat immersive. But this is a second life right here. This is 500 hours over multiple different uh character classes and races. Bruh,
Yeah.
you'll be playing this game until you die.
It says like, so I did it. So in a previous video that I did, I covered all of the information that came out about Baldur's Gate 3, and they did comparisons to it, and the comparisons are this game, the cinematics is longer than 3 times all 3 of the Lord of the Rings books, as well as 2 times the the entire Game of Thrones series. So the Game of Thrones series times 2, just the cinematics is longer than the.
Yeah, I remember when we were talking about that. Like that's what I'm saying. So I would hope by like him saying this, he just means how massive it is, because this game is like mind-blowingly huge, you know? Like
Yeah.
maybe that's what he means, but everyone should always strive to make great, good story-driven RPGs. Like, because what is an RPG if there's really no story or nothing to do?
Yeah.
Like, you're just doing like a walking simulator at that point.
Well, I mean, in his tweet right here, he goes on and he basically says, in an era of mega games, Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the largest attempted, built by a specialized group of people using mature tech specially built to make this specific game, reinforced by invaluable mass player feedback and market validation ahead of its launch. This is not a new baseline for RPGs. This is an anomaly. Trying to do the same thing in the same way, especially without the same advantages, could kill an entire group of studios. So let's break this down, right?
How does he not have the same advantage? Everyone could set their game in early access and get QCers and get feedback.
Exactly.
Like, it's not an advantage.
Exactly.
That is literally not an advantage.
There's not, and that's what I'm talking about. Is just like he's not talking about like, I mean, he's including the how massive the game is, but if you go through his multiple different points of what he's specifically talking about, he says that using mature tech specially built to make this game specifically, you as a developer, I mean, not every development company has the backing and the personnel to be able to develop an engine, but that doesn't mean that you don't have the capabilities of outsourcing your engine, specifically Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 has all the tools that you can be able to use to be able to make a massive game like that. So if you don't have an engine if you don't have your own proprietary engine or personnel who actually specialize in building engines, then you can outsource your engine to Unreal Engine 5. And I've seen massive games run on Unreal Engine 4. You know what I'm saying? So it's possible to do that. The other thing is that the whole mass player feedback and everything like that, how is that, like, it goes to your point, like, how is that an advantage? You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what you're supposed to do as a game developer. Like, you want to be able to get the good and the bad, so then that way you can be able to mitigate any kind of risk that you're taking when making the game. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to have people test it, on a regular basis, which is I thought was a good thing. Most people don't like the fact that Baldur's Gate 3 was in early access for 3 years. Most people don't like that because it's, you know, they were like, or not most people, some people don't like that because it, you know, it takes a long time. They feel like, oh, I'm ready for the game to finally release. But me personally, I'm like, I always have access to the game. I can jump in whenever I want to. Yeah, it's not complete yet, but I can also submit my feedback whenever I want to, and then they're taking the feedback into consideration, which I think is that's the best kind of business model you want to have, because you're getting direct feedback and response from the mistakes that you're making. And it gives you the opportunity to correct those mistakes before a full release of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, for me, when I read this, it just sounds like excuses. And it just sounds like someone who doesn't necessarily like want to. I'm not gonna say he doesn't want to develop the best kind of game that he can possibly develop within his capabilities, but more so just, you know, you're just making excuses for not being able to match that energy per se. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, no.
But like I said, nothing needs to be matching something that massive. You know what I'm saying? Like these are all one-offs for the immersive and massiveness of this game. But you should always strive to make good quality games and products and anything, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, another thing too that kind of makes this game, the reason why I'm assuming Larian Studios went in so far into depth in this game is because it's based on D&D. If this game wasn't based on D&D,
D&D has a gigantic like backlog of lore.
Exactly.
It's ever expanding. So of course this game's going to be this big.
Exactly. And I wouldn't be surprised if they added expansions and DLC to it too, which will increase the amount of time. So that's what I'm saying is like, I think the only reason why this game is as expansive as it is because it's based in D&D's universe. If this game wasn't based in D&D's universe, I don't think it would be 400 to 500 hours long.
Oh,
you know
hell
what I'm saying? I think it would be like maybe 150, 200 hours at the most. Kind of like Skyrim. You know what I'm saying? Skyrim was like 150 hours total.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, but yeah.
D&D's been around since like what, the 60s?
Yeah.
So of course it's going to be huge.
Yeah. So I'm just like, man, like I just think that it's, you know, excuses that he just kind of gave with this, man. Like Baldur's Gate, Larian Studios, man, keep showing up these other development companies. Keep striving for the best.
This dude sounds like he's a developer of like a game like in the class and realm of Redfall.
Yeah.
He produced the L and now he's like, God damn it, Baldur's Gate, stop making me look like a fucking loser.
Yeah.
With this shitty game I just made.
Yeah, I'm just like, bro, like it's just you hate to see it. You know what I'm saying? You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Quit your whining and get good.
Yeah, exactly. But moving on though, we have some more information coming from Eurogamer, and you know, the developer kind of spoke, well, not the developer, the game director actually spoke on, you know, the comparisons for BioShock and their new game they're developing called Clockwork Revolution. I don't know if you remember this game during Xbox Showcase. Do you remember this game at Xbox Showcase?
Yeah, I immediately said BioShock Infinite when I saw it.
I was like, yo, me too.
So for this guy to say it's not influenced, bro, you a damn liar. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Bro, that's literally BioShock Infinite. The guns, dude, everything, the whole entire landscape, the environment, the scenery, even the trains. Like, bro, come on, this is legit, fully inspired. Like, you may have unknowingly did it, but this is BioShock Infinite, like almost like clone. You know?
Yeah. Definitely. So he goes on, game director Chad Moore said that the project is better described as a love child of role-playing games such as Arcanum, of Steamworks, and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I have never played Arcanum before. I've never heard of it either. I got to look more into that game, but I have played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. And that game definitely not necessarily known for its graphical fidelity, but more so the deep enriching RPG elements within it. So I mean, I can definitely get behind that aspect of it. But if I was to say, I wouldn't be beating around the bush. This, you know, is definitely BioShock mixed with, you know, Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines. If he's saying that, not, I got to look more in Arcanum of Steamworks, but definitely BioShock vibes.
Yes, 100%. Unless BioShock was inspired by Arcanum.
I mean, that could be the possibility too.
Yeah.
I don't.
So then we're just ignorant to the fact of what Arcanum of Steamwork does or
Yeah,
looks like. But
yeah,
other than that, this is literally BioShock, dude.
yeah.
Like Infinite for sure.
Definitely. So the reason why he goes on to say that, it's a love child of both of those games is he describes Clockwork Revolution as a mix of the two due to its deep world building, compelling narratives, and crunchy RPG systems, engaging gameplay, and massive reactivity. I don't know what the hell crunchy RPG systems is supposed to mean,
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
nor do I understand the description of massive reactivity. Does that mean that like whatever you do, the world immediately or like the world reacts to what you do on a large scale? Or it's like sometimes some of these developers, sometimes some of these directors trying to sell their game come up with these crazy ass buzzwords and shit, and it's like they just find two words, put them together, and then they think it sounds good. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
so
he has the same speech codes as Kamala Harris, I think.
yeah, I'm like, what the fuck do you mean by crunchy RPG systems and massive reactivity? Like, I don't get that. I need more explanation. I need you to elaborate on both of those points, you know.
Yeah, for real.
But I mean, look, man, the game looks good. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, for sure.
for me, the trailer, I think I'm really like interested in this. Hopefully it's optimized, it plays good. It's shown at Xbox Showcase, so I don't know if this game is Xbox
PC and
exclusive.
Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so.
Yeah, it was on the Xbox showcase, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
put it past it.
So yeah, I would think so. But yeah, man. Yeah, I'm excited for this game though, man.
Yeah, same here, because I know a lot of people talk shit about BioShock Infinite, but I actually like that game. I've replayed it multiple times, just like I have with 1, 2.
Yeah,
So I'm down to play this for sure.
yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be single player too. So I mean, if it has some really good RPG elements, I don't know if I have time for it because I got Baldur's Gate 3. I may have to.
Well, I'm not Second Life in that game, so I probably will have time for this. I'll let you know how it goes.
Man, you don't want to get Baldur's Gate 3 with me, man, so then that way we can go on these wild, crazy adventures and play the game 18 times?
No, I don't want to be 60 by the time I'm done with it.
I'm gonna convince you to get Baldur's Gate 3. I'm just gonna have to just play the game in front of you and just show you, like, bro, every time I play Baldur's Gate 3, bro, I spend at least an hour. Like, you could spend an hour and a half, 2 hours just trying to customize your character. Because there's so many different customization
Dude,
options.
that's wild. That's so much time, dude.
Yes, you can and some of the stuff is I'm so indecisive when it comes to the class I want to play as. I'm real decisive when it comes to the race, the character, the religion I want to pick, like different stuff like that. But when it comes to like the classes, because when you pick the class, you have to pick a subclass too. And with those subclasses comes specific abilities that you can choose from. So it's like you pick a sorcerer, and then within the sorcerer class or within the mage class or whatever, like you have like a warlock or stuff like that. I don't know if they're adding a witch into this one like they did in Definitive Original Sin, but man, I'm excited for it though. I got to get you to play it because I need me a squad. But
We'll see.
But moving on though, we also have some more information on Assassin's Creed, Mirage, bro. And this is good news. This is good news for anybody that is tired of the same old formula that, Ubisoft has incorporated within their games and stuff.
Grassroots, baby, going back to them.
Exactly. So Assassin's Creed devs say there's no XP based progression. Thank Jesus. Because it's just like, it makes the game feel rushed, and then on top of that too, it's also it makes the game feel rushed, but in a bloated sense. Like, if that kind of makes any sense, like that's why the whole reason why they had time savers in the game. They legit name them time savers in some of these Assassin's Creed games. But going on though, they kind of described like the progression system within Assassin's Creed Mirage. The story of Mirage follows Basim's evolution from an apprentice to a mentor, a journey that's reflected in the game's systems. There's no XP-based progression in Mirage. Instead, progression is linear and story-driven. As you follow the story and complete missions, your rank increases with the Brotherhood, giving you new opportunities for missions, outfits, and tools. I love that. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't make the game feel bloated. It doesn't make the game feel like it's like extended and it's just like these random ass things that they're just throwing at you to get you to do like a grocery list of stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? So that way you can build up XP and stuff. And I think on top of that too, like if I'm not mistaken, I think Origins had like a gear system as well that was kind of triggered upon, like not triggered upon, but kind of like associated with like experience and stuff. And I'm just like, why? Like you're trying to turn Assassin's Creed into The Division. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, which it's clearly not, dude. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
So, I mean, what do you think about this? Are you, you know, is this a good step in a good step in the right direction? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, because Assassin's Creed stopped being good after Revelations. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, bring it back. This is what I've been waiting for, so bring it back.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm excited for it. You know, cause like I said, I stopped playing Assassin's Creed after I think it was it Brotherhood? I think I took a break after Brotherhood and then jumped on, played Black Flag. That was the only one I played. And then took a long hiatus and went and played Origins, because all the other Assassin's Creed were between Black Flag and Origins just did not sound good to me at all.
Unity was decent.
You like Unity, but that game's broken as hell. That game was broken.
Yeah, but see, move past the brokenness after the updates. That game was good.
Yeah,
I mean, you're willing to do it for Cyberpunk. You should have did it for Unity.
Man, I mean, like Cyberpunk's different though, bro. Like CD Projekt Red,
it was still a broken game.
It was definitely a broken ass game, but the story for Cyberpunk, that's what really captivated me with Cyberpunk, was the story elements.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like Unity just didn't capture me with the story, and the game was broken.
French Revolution, dude, that was pretty cool.
If
you ask me.
Assassin's Creed Syndicate didn't capture me with the story neither, and I feel
no, that game sucked.
Yeah, and it's just like I just like, nah, I'm good. And then I waited to Origins. Origins captivated me because I was like, okay, we're going to Africa. This is the first time we're going to Africa. You know what I'm saying? And then that game, that's when they introduced that like RPG, like action type of like system and stuff where you just like, not necessarily like an assassin anymore. Like you're more so just like out in the open, just fighting people. And then they went like full head on into like, you know, Roman Empire, you know, with I forgot what the one after that one was called. And then they went full Viking.
Wasn't it Valhalla? Oh, okay, Valhalla. Okay, yeah. Valhalla's the second one after that one. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't remember the one before it either then.
The one before,
I only remember Origins and Valhalla. I don't remember what was in place of that. Which also brings it back to, we don't need to do Assassin's Creed every year.
No. Well, I don't even think those were, at one point in time they were annual, but I think when Origins came around, they stopped being annual. They stopped being annual.
And they were like every 2 years then, but still, like, make us wait, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey guys, my apologies. We had some technical difficulties going on with OBS. Finally got that rectified. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take it from here with last little bit of what we were talking about with Assassin's Creed. But man, I think it's great news, man. I think it's also amazing that we're getting some more OG Assassin's Creed type of vibes going on with Assassin's Creed Mirage. But yeah, man, I'm excited for this game. I can't wait to kind of like test this out. But moving forward though, we have some information going on with another Assassin's Creed game. You know, I'm pretty sure people know about all of the different kind of Assassin's Creed games that, you know, Ubisoft has put forward and has allowed people to be kind of, aware of what their goal is, what their game plan is, what their roadmap is for Assassin's Creed. But, you know, Ubisoft claims that Assassin's Creed Red, which is set in Japan, is going to be the biggest 2024 blockbuster. That's a lot, man. You're definitely trying to drive that hype train, I guess, so to speak. But they kind of go on to say with this is that the game will bring the franchise back to the RPG formula. So this game is going to be, back to the same old Ubisoft Assassin's Creed type of games. After getting, Mirage, which would be kind of like how old school Assassin's Creed was. So I think they're trying to open up the player base a little bit to, doing some, fan favorites from a different era with Assassin's Creed and some of the, fan base that, knows Assassin's Creed for what it recently, the recent editions of Assassin's Creed. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of feeling like 50-50 with this game in particular. I love Japanese settings and stuff like that. I mean, like Ghost of Tsushima was a really, really good setting. And it's a really, really good game in general. But, having that Japanese setting, if I were to guess too, if they're going to still stick with like the Assassin's Creed thing, I mean, they may try to implement samurai to this. I hope they kind of still make it more Assassin's Creed versus like Origins. Still keep if you're going to do the RPG formula, that's fine, but don't completely like take out the assassin part of it. And I think Shinobi would probably be the best bet for an Assassin's Creed game versus using samurai. So in my particular opinion, I think like Shinobi would probably be the best setting for this. Don't go full modern Assassin's Creed. If you're going to do the RPG elements, that's perfectly fine, but still keep it within the vein of like, very heavy on the sneaking mechanics, parkouring, things like that. I wouldn't mind seeing like a shadow step implemented in there, smoke bombs, things like that. That kind of stuff, definitely using kunai, things like that. So I mean, I'm excited for it. As far as like the Japanese setting goes, and as far as like, them possibly using like the the Shinobi instead of the samurai. But I mean, it's a Ubisoft, and if they're going back to the old RPG formula, what I'm saying, I'm not necessarily excited about that part. But they, given the fact that they want to boast that it's the biggest blockbuster 2024, here are just some of the games that are supposed to be coming out next year. And, they'll be competing with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's a massive game, as well as Marvel's Wolverine. So, I mean, like, if I were to guess, I don't think Assassin's Creed Red is going to top both of these games. So, I mean, it's a little bit embellishing, a little bit of hubris, but I mean, I'm still excited for it. I like Japanese culture, and I'm excited to see what they can do with this title moving forward. But going on next, we have some confirmation that Rockstar is going to be remaking multiple PlayStation 2 games, and a lot of people are excited. They want another Bully. They wanted Bully 2, but Rockstar just not all the way invested in the Bully yet. So having a Bully remake on possibly the Red Dead Redemption engine, what I'm saying, having a little bit more, I wonder if they'll be able to kind of mix the old school kind of atmosphere with it, as well as giving a little bit of more modern taste to it. I guess you could kind of, say you'll have the modern graphics mixed with the nostalgia, and it'll be the exact same game as it was before. This also comes off the heels of them possibly confirming a Red Dead Redemption remake as well. So I mean, like, there's a lot of games in Rockstar's catalog, man, that they could definitely remake, and oh man, it'll just be great. It'll just be amazing. And I think too, that'll kind of give, I'm pretty sure when Grand Theft Auto 6, releases, and it's, I know they're going to turn it into a live service essentially. But I mean, I think them doing remakes, and if they can keep it within the same kind of vein as Capcom has done with their remakes, and we can kind of see, people taking Capcom's, I guess, or following Capcom's lead, I guess, Rockstar possibly wants to do that, as well as Konami's doing that with their remakes and things like that. So I mean, it's a good thing, because you get some of the classic games that's within their catalog, and then getting them on updated graphics. Because especially too, if they're gonna remake these from the ground up, like these are legit proper remakes, not necessarily remasters. Because I mean, like that they did terribly with that with that Grand Theft Auto collection of like Grand Theft Auto. Oh, I wonder if it was like Vice City or something like that. I can't remember it, but that shit was god awful. So hopefully they go back and they remake some of these older games and stuff, and it's they build them from the ground up on new engines. And I mean, I'll be excited for that though, man. Rockstar has a great catalog. I mean, you also possibly getting Max Payne 2. Max Payne 2, stuff like that. So I mean, that's also something that can also be remade on a newer engine. I wouldn't mind seeing that. What I'm saying? So they got a lot of stuff that they could do. They got a lot of stuff that they've made. They got a lot of stuff that they could possibly do to remake, and it'd be pretty dope. It'd be pretty dope to see some of the stuff that they would try to remake at least. But yeah, moving forward though, and we have our last article of the day, man. Henry Cavill is officially making a Warhammer cinematic universe per se. I mean, like I'm a brand new Warhammer baby, basically. So I just got into Warhammer, the lore, man, and I mean, I'm excited to start learning more about Warhammer, and stuff like that. But I know Warhammer is such an expansive universe, and it's just I mean, if you're gonna do a cinematic universe, Warhammer is the property to try this with. Because you have so many different aspects of Warhammer, and you have so many different eras. You have so many different, just so many different factions and things like that you could explore, worlds, everything like that you could explore. But he kind of hinted at it on Instagram. And he goes on to say that for 30 years, I have dreamt of seeing a Warhammer universe in live action. Now, after 22 years of experience in this industry, I finally feel that I have the skill set and experience to guide a Warhammer cinematic universe into life. Partnering with Natalie Viscuso at Vertigo has been a blessing beyond words. Without her, we might not have found the perfect home at Amazon. And having a home like Amazon will give us the freedom to be true to the massive scope of Warhammer. To all of you Warhammer fans out there, I promise to respect this IP that we love. I promise to bring you something familiar, and I endeavor to bring you something fantastic that is as of yet unseen. And that's actually pretty dope, man. Like, I think a lot of people have faith in Henry Cavill, because Henry Cavill is a gamer at heart, in general. You just seen what he's been able to bring to The Witcher. Despite the terrible writing, despite the terrible showrunner that's been helming that TV show. What I'm saying? It's just like, it's nice that, he's having a chance to be able to lead something as well as, be behind the scenes with it a little bit. I'm hoping that they allow him to be as creative as he possibly can, take a lot of the knowledge that he has and the knowledge about the lore, as well as partnering with the actual studio that brings people Warhammer and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that Warhammer can be true to what the series, true to what the games are, true to what the lore is, true to what the board games are, true to what every little aspect of Warhammer, so that way we can finally get some kind of show or movie that's really close to the source material. Like, we've seen what that can be like with the Last of Us TV show, and stuff like that. Like, Last of Us TV show is very much close to the video games, and so hopefully we can kind of get that same kind of element with Henry Cavill and Warhammer. Hopefully executives don't get their hands all into this, man, and kind of terminate Henry Cavill again. Because it's just like, you go from being Superman to they, giving you the boot, or like not even really giving you boot, but just dicking you around on Superman. And then, then The Witcher, you kind of go run into the same kind of roadblocks, people, changing things that don't really need to be changed for the sake of, agenda, and what I'm saying, just for the sake of just changing it, just to subvert expectations and thinking that you're more creative than what the source material dictates. And so, man, hopefully we can get some good stuff out of this, man. But I'm excited for it. I can't wait for Warhammer. I'm really like excited for the Warhammer show. I don't know. I mean, look, Amazon has the financial backing to be able to support a universe like this. I just don't think that they have the writers in place, because they Amazon doesn't have a good catalog of TV shows and movies really. Like the only ones I can name off the top of my head really are like, you know, Reacher and The Boys, really. Like they're like smash hits, you know. So I mean, I don't know, man. If I had to choose a studio for like with Henry Cavill to try to go with, to try to make Warhammer, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I guess Amazon probably be the only one. Because if it was on HBO, HBO doesn't really do, in my opinion, HBO doesn't really do action that well. Most of what they have on there is drama and a lot of talking. Like a lot of shows that just involve a lot of talking. Like even with The Last of Us, even though that was really close to the show or to the video games, there was a small bit of action in that TV show. Most of that was Joel and Ellie walking around talking, and it was more of a drama than an action. So I mean, like, yeah, I guess Amazon will be the only one that had the financial backing to be able to do something of large scale like this. You know, I mean, I guess like, I mean, MGM Plus, I guess would have been nice, I guess too. I mean, MGM's owned by Amazon anyway, so yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it, man. You know, hopefully they can be able to do Warhammer justice. But yo, if you guys enjoy the content, man, like I said, I apologize for the hiccup that we had earlier with the, you know, there's some funky stuff going on with OBS. So I mean, if you guys, you know, enjoy the content, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, man. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I appreciate the support, and you guys take it easy. Thank you.